She put a pot on she hair and gone. Them a the first one out on the dam. Basket on she head, bucket in each hand. Hold up on she frock, I wanna she grandson. To the market, them a go. For the morning, the day is dawning. For cockacrow to give the villagers a warning. Rise and shine, the birds them a sing. All animal take turn as them join in the waking. Cockacrow, dagabag, donkey, bray, horse, and they even duck a quack. Cockacrow, dagabag, donkey, bray, horse, and they even duck a quack. Come and hear this sweet story that tell the people about life in the country. All day a back down, me now a come home. Inaga, jackass yard for fetchy load. Cockle shy hand, bag over shoulder, running by his side, a Rexy and Rover. From the farm, them a come. Sun a go down but up the river. Some washing clothes, some folks are bathing at the water. Fisherman, they catch them a bring. From a canoe boat, man, them start offloading. Aymara, Kwakwari, Hail Baka Kuma Kuma, even Lokonani. Aymara, Kwakwari, Hail Baka Kuma Kuma, even Bangameri. Listen to this sweet story that tell the people about life in the country. Them children glad when the weekend come. Out in the yard, them all gather round. Some a play catcher, some making house from straw. Two who come later, a grandma or grandpa. All a sit down just a wait. Moonlight so bright, it's just the right time to listen story or to say a little nursery rhyme. Grandpa voice a echo in the night as he tell some picnic are there with fright. Oh, Ligan, Mungeza, Massa Kurman Nancy, even Watamuma. Oh, Ligan, Moongazer, Massa Kurman Nancy, even Watamuma. Yeah, man, that's the true story that tell the people about life in the country, life in the country.
If you are looking to have your statutory declaration, affidavit of income, identity, damage or lost passport, lost license, tenancy agreement, agreement of settlement, power of attorney, last will and testament, and certification of documents, then you need to visit the Alistair Collins firm, located at the Killian Mall, 162 Lamaha Street in Georgetown, between Camp and Waterloo Street. Alistair Collins is a commissioner of oaths and a justice of the peace. Make certain you visit him or call for more information at 649-6410 or 685-6448 or 503-1451. And there's adequate parking available. Go down to the Alistair Collins firm and have all of your legal issues settled and brought to the fore. Alistair Collins Firm. Contact them at Alistair Collins Firm.
Hello, this is attorney Shellen Washington, owner and founder of the Washington Law Firm, located at 455 Utica Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. We're specialized in medical malpractice, personal injuries, matrimonial law, and landlord and tenant. If you're in need of legal representation, please give us a call today. The number to call is 718-877-1414. 3100. Consultation is free at no cost to you. So call us today to see if we can be of any assistance to your legal needs. Again, the phone number to call us is 718-877-3100.
These people come in the house, kick down the door, and they just fire shot just on the left side. And he was sleeping here. If you could see, this is a blood spot. And I was sleeping there on the right side. He was on his left. Just hit him just like this. I left lie down trembling on the bed and he didn't say anything to me. I asked him if I could come off the bed and I said, yes, come off the bed. And that was it. And I told him that
Good afternoon to all my Facebook friends. Today I am doing this video for my fellow workers to understand that the government of today is not for the working class people. I am saying this simply because all of us are aware that our official from the government yesterday or a few days ago make some announcement, and one of the announcements is to give the severance people maybe $250,000. I have no problem with those giving the severance people money, but my problem is these workers already receive all their benefits, and most of them are working in different estates.
Pressure boss pipe. Pressure boss pipe, boy. Umaninja, Guyana de underwater. Oh, on the wrong. Sorry. Umaninja, Guyana de under pressure. Walk. Bangamere is $400 pong. Trout $400 pong. Oh, you go buy that sell back by. I just come and tell a boy, bisa buy me little fish and mix with me little crab and sell. Thing that just raise, thing just double the price, just double. Oh.
Making the short video for send to you and the viewers and listeners. I'll know we punishing in Guyana. Punishing. Rice gone up, sugar gone up, flour gone up, cost of living just gone up, gas gone up from 3,400 to 3,800. Real hungry days under this installed PPP government. Real hungry days we gone back to Guyanese. Oh, real hungry days, real hungry days.
You get a for salad, you get a for 200, you get a special for 300 uncle. You can get a food. If you not take a taste good, you get a dark food, you can taste some bite too. We get nice dark food, kind of chip. All the woman was a man is dark. You could come and get a dark food for your husband. Everybody get a choice. We know deprive nobody. Uncle, you get a dark food, chip.
untrustworthy. Shall not untrustworthy. Misconduct injustice and ruling. Untrustworthy. Untrustworthy.
Well, one of the things that we've got to do, I tell you guys this, we've got to pray for Guyana, right? Good evening to all of you, every single one of you. We've got to pray for Guyana. I repeat, we've got to. You see the flag there, right? We've got to pray for Guyana. Now, bow your heads, clasp your hands, and let's just pray. Pray. Do whatever you want to do, whether you're going to offer a Christian prayer, a Muslim prayer, a Hindu prayer, whatever, even if you are Rastafarian, whatever you want to do, just pray right now. Just pray, because Guyana is not going to the dogs. Guyana has gone to the dogs. That is exactly what is happening. And we cannot and should not run away from reality. Those people who are governing Guyana, and now I want all of these who have these folks who have their heads and whatever else in the sand, I want them to listen. Let them tune in. We're not going to chase them. We're not going to drive them off, because the truth hurts. That is why they are here, to hear the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So look at the flag, the Guyana flag. And I'll tell you this. Guyana has gone to the dogs. Look at these individuals who are not just running Guyana, but they are ruining Guyana. I repeat, they're not running Guyana, they're ruining Guyana. Look at what has happened since they have been installed. And let's not run away again from the truth. They were installed. So this PPP regime is not a democratically elected government. They have been installed. That's it. So once you share the link, we appreciate that. They have been installed. So they are, and if you are going to describe them, they are an installed regime. That's it. Whether they like it or not, they have been installed, and they know by who. So when you look at this Guyana flag, you've got to feel a way about the country. You've got to feel a way about how things are ruining. And every single day, do you think it is getting any better? I mean, look, I'm looking at some of your comments, and I want to ask you guys this so that you can participate as well. Do you guys think that Guyana has been any better since these folks were installed on the 2nd, of August 2020? The 2nd of August 2020. And now I look for your comments. I want to see your comments, because at the end of the day, we've got to do more than just pray for Guyana. We've got to do more than just talk about who is doing what and who's not doing what, and who this and who sabotage who and who this, and a bunch of crybabies. You don't get crybabies in politics. You don't get armchair politicians in politics and expect changes. No, you don't do that. And you don't sit down wherever you are and expect people to bell the cat. If you want to see changes, then you find an avenue, you find a way and bell the cat. Simple as that. That is what real fighters do. Real fighters don't sit and cry like little babies, little wimps. You know what I mean? And now, look, I'm not talking to a lot of you honorable people who are here, but it is sad. Everybody wants people to bell the cat. Everybody wants somebody to make that first move. Everybody wants somebody to make that sacrifice. But you ask them, what sacrifice or sacrifices are you willing to make? The answer is nil. The answer is not. The answer is nothing. But they want to sit and they want others to fight that battle for them. They want others to risk their lives and so forth and so on. When those who are the elected officials don't do that, but they want others to do it. They want a Ben Sharp to do it. And then when they don't see Ben Sharp as active as how Ben Sharp used to be, you know what I mean? They get worried. They get concerned. Some of them get vexed because their bumps raise. All manner of things. But ask them, ask those individuals if they are ready to put their lives on the risk for a better Guyana. The answer is no. Before you guys get to see my face, and I'm glad that you're not able to see my face right now. Thank you so much, Lemon. Thank you. But you know, I was listening to some parts of Glenn Lal's show, and Glenn Lal is ready to hit the streets. Oh yes, I repeat, Glenn Lal is ready to hit the streets. Glenn Lal is ready to protest. Here's my question. How many of you who love to talk about boots on the ground and who loves to talk about who is not on the ground and how many of you are willing to put boots on the ground? A simple question. How many of you, other than being some of you, I can understand, but the Facebook activists and the Facebook armchair politicians, how many of them are willing to make the sacrifices that they want others to make? Activism is not just about chit-chat. Activism is not just about talk. It's about action. And some of you, if you don't have action, well, you know what, right? Good. Read my lips if you can. You know what, right? I'll give you a minute. I'll pause. I'll pause with you so that you can pray for this country, that beautiful Guyana. Beautiful Guyana. I'll pause for a moment. I will pause so that some of the armchair politicians can do some introspections about themselves. Let them go and bell that cat, the cat that they want others to bell for them, the cat that they want others to continue over and over to bell for them. I, Mark Anthony Balram Benchap, is not going to be belling any cat for any individual who is not prepared themselves to bell that cat. I have been there, on the ground, in the trenches, in Camp Street, in Brickdam, in Lagrange, in wherever you are, the lockups. I've been there and I bell the cats. I'm willing to hold hands with anyone who is brave enough to bell the cat. Talking and talking, dotishness, is not going to move the PPP regime. It is not going to. It's just a figment of your dotish imagination. It is just not going to do the trick. I'll pause for a moment for you guys to reflect. I'm going for a bottle of water. I'll be right back. And I'm ready to rock and roll on 107.1 FM. It's straight up. Tonight, I guess, let me see. Oh, there we go. I think we have J.R. Crawford with us. I want to ask J.R. when he gets on here. Thank you so much, Lemon. Whether he, J.R. Crawford, is willing and ready to bell the cat. Are you that's listening, are you guys ready to bell the cat? But those who are brave or were brave enough to bell the cat, guess what? Nobody gave a damn about those individuals who belled the cat when they were in office. Nobody gave a damn. Now suddenly, everybody understands the importance of constituency and party supporters and all these damn things. Look, I'm not in the best of mood this evening. I'm just not in the best of mood this evening. I'll go for a bottle of water and I'll return and I'll bell the cat on 107.1 FM. I'll be right back.
This ain't a long time, this ain't a long time, this not a before time. This ain't a long time, this ain't a long time, this not a before time. This ain't a long time, this ain't a long time, this not a before time. Long time got them lang loji, now you got them bongolo. Long time got them lang loji, now you got them bongolo. This ain't a long time, this ain't a long time, this not a before time. This ain't a long time, this ain't a long time, this not a before time. Long time got them dirty down, now you got them concrete road. Long time got them dirty down, now you got them concrete road. Long time got them dirty down, now you got them concrete road. Long time got them dirty down, now you got them concrete road. This ain't a long time, this ain't a long time, this not a before time. This ain't a long time, this ain't a long time, this not a before time. Long time got them jug lamp, now you got them electric light. Long time got them jug lamp, now you got them electric light. This ain't a long time, this ain't a long time, this not a before time. This ain't a long time, this ain't a long time, this not a before time. Long time got them broad bottom, now you got them tight straight. Long time got them broad bottom, now you got them tight straight. Long time got them broad bottom, now you got them tight straight. Long time got them broad bottom, now you got them tight straight. This ain't a long time, this ain't a long time, this not a before time. This ain't a long time, this ain't a long time.
All right, welcome back. Here, guess what? The Village Voice. This is the Village Voice. The Village Voice it ought to be the village newspaper, and the village newspaper shouldn't be, carrying propaganda of the PPP regime. They shouldn't be doing that at all. The installed PPP regime. And so I like this headline, though. I like this headline. Here's why I like this headline. For those of you who may be having some difficulties tuning into us, I should just say that we are having some technical difficulties at the studio, in our studio. So look at this headline. It was murder. Murder. It was murder was a regular rant in Guyana, fighting for justice for people who have had their loved ones executed either by death squads connected to the PPP regime or extrajudicial killing by the Guyana Police Force, members of the Guyana Police Force. Now look at this here. It was murder. Maintains police constable must be charged with murder. That's Nigel Hughes. Hughes says state took Orrin Boston's fundamental human right to life. They took it. The state took that, right? The state took that. And because this man, Nigel Hughes, has been very vocal and standing up for the rights of citizens. Look at what he's saying. He's fighting this battle. Nigel Hughes is fighting this battle, while the others, for political reason, are fighting their own battle. They seem to have their own battle that they're fighting, but Nigel Hughes is fighting the battle for the family of Orrin Boston. But the PPP doesn't like it. And guess what? They have their hats, they have their kunumunus, they have their criminal bunch, some of whom are attached at the office of the president, and they're being paid $100,000, $80,000 every month. Some of them are being paid more to blog. They're out there, they're blogging, and so it looks as though they're after this man, attorney at law, Nigel Hughes, all manner of things. Now, this is a guy who stands up, and I've been there on the ground with him on numerous times when there are folks who are looking to have an attorney to do their work pro bono. Nigel Hughes is that lawyer. Well, I can attest from a personal standpoint, he has represented me dozens of times pro bono. I know he has done so for other family members. The minute that I call Nigel Hughes, he is there to stand up and fight against injustices. But the PPP doesn't like it. Now, here is what, and it is not funny. And I'm asking this particular question. Why are they going after Nigel Hughes, scandalizing the man? Oh, he's representing criminals and he's this. Who do you want him to represent? Do you want him well, he should have, since he's representing criminals. Would you guys have been happy if he represented Irfan Ali when he was charged with 19 fraud charges? Then he would have been a good guy. He would have been a wonderful guy. He would have been a different kind of guy, right? Then you would have loved him. You would have probably thrown mala around his neck. You probably would have chate his fingers, and so forth and so on, and whatever else. But at the end of the day, ask, and I want you folks, the listeners, to ask this question. Why? Because we were not born yesterday. We are not dotish people. We understand. But it is something fishy about why they are going after attorney at law Nigel Hughes. But look, here's where the pace picked up. All of a sudden, here it is, all of a sudden, they seem to have this hatred towards Nigel Hughes. But we know why. It is because of this. Nigel Hughes is standing up and he is saying, on behalf of the family of Orrin Boston, that the DPP has advised the police to charge the killer. It should have been killers because they barged into this man's home. They shot him cold-bloodedly in front of his wife. The perpetrators, the criminals, should not have been charged with manslaughter. It should have been, it should have been murder. Because you know why? It was cold-blooded murder. That is what it was. But those in the PPP seem to be very upset about what Nigel Hughes is doing. Why would they be upset? There are lots of PPP lawyers who represent criminals, who represent drug lords, who represent death squad members, all these things. But for the PPP, they're good people. They're good lawyers. But this guy, Nigel Hughes, they're picking on him. But I don't think that we should sit down, sit back, and allow those criminals to pick on Nigel Hughes. Because if they pick on Nigel Hughes, they pick on all of us. Just like when they pick and they're persecuting individuals, whether it's Trevor Benn, whether it's Roxanne Myers, whether it is Lowenfield, whether it is Mingo, whether it is Denhurt, I believe, the young man who was recently and unjustifiably fired from his job at the Guyana Elections Commission. We've got to stand up because it is wrong. It is an injustice. And, we just cannot sit by and allow it to go. So Nigel Hughes, I want you to know this, that we are with you. And we know who those perpetrators are, who are sitting at the office of the president, who have multiple Facebook pages, who are blogging, and who have those fictitious Facebook so-called media pages. We know who they are. And I urge sensible Guyanese who are watching this show, do not share those pages. Do not share Ben Shop Radio page. Share Gordon Mosley's page, newssource.gy. News source, credible news entity, newssource.gy. Share those news entities. Share what is coming out of the opposition tent as well. Just share it. How many times have you taken, even during the course of the day, to share something from News Source, or to share something from Ben Shop Radio, or to share something from the opposition coalition page or pages? How many times? But y'all gonna sit down and y'all gonna send me link about some news, or some PPP link to some, man. Look, man. Oh, look. Don't do it, please. Don't do me that, please. Don't at all. Because you guys don't want to see my face when I say don't. It's like people got to sit down and beg you guys to share the right stuff to people. But no, y'all not going to do that. Some of y'all not going to do that. I bet right now if I go on some of your pages, right? If I go on some of your pages, y'all didn't share nothing about this struggle. It doesn't have to be about Ben Shop Radio, whether it's the mid-morning show that we have or any or straight up. It has to be with maybe Village Voice. Share Village Voice news. Well, don't share the ones when they allow those individuals with their propaganda on the front page, don't, right? But share proper stuff. Gosh, for crying out loud. Good night to all of you, every single one of you. And somebody's probably saying, we're going out with Ben Shop tonight, man. Yeah, I want to know what's going on with me. Let's begin. Here, this young lady, Rafina Kumar, she's currently in Syria. She apparently, according to her story, she went there looking for some nursing job. But she has about 2 or 3 kids now. She is stuck in Syria. She wants to return to Guyana. There seem to be some hiccups. I don't know. But you know what is interesting? I think, and I agree, that those who are, in Guyana, in positions, they ought to represent this young lady. They ought to get to the bottom of this case to find out what is happening. Why is she stuck in Syria? What's her story? So that if this young lady wants to return to Guyana, she should be able to return to Guyana. No ifs and ands or buts about it. She has to. And so the same energy that they're using to check and to ensure that her story is authentic and to have her return to Guyana, here is my question. Why? Why are they, the installed regime of Guyana, and even the opposition, why are they quiet about this guy, Sean Pike, sitting in a jail cell in Moscow, in Russia, right now, a filthy jail cell, and not a word, absolutely not a word from the installed regime, not a word. But Ms. Kumar, who is in Syria, they're concerned about, and they're looking into the matter, according to the Foreign Affairs Minister, Mr. Todd. Good evening to you, Mr. Todd. They're looking into it. But they can't look into this guy. They can't look into Sean Pike's situation. Sean Pike supposedly had a court hearing on the 20th and the 21st of this month. What has happened? We don't know. It's like blackout, just like GPL. Tons and tons of blackout. But they're more interested in this situation. Rafina Kumar, who is stuck in Syria. Now, nothing is wrong with being interested in this young lady's case. And I do hope that they get to the bottom of it and Miss Kumar is returned safely with her kids to Guyana. And the same energy that the installed regime is using to have Kumar return to Guyana, they should use the same energy to have Sean Pike out of jail in Russia. Why is Sean Pike in jail? All because he's a Jehovah's Witness. All because he's a Jehovah's Witness. All because. Oh. Free Sean Pike. Free him. Now this guy is from Turkey. So he's a Turkish. He has been in Guyana for about 2+ years, according to him, and he has been working for some company. But the news story, they showed the photograph of this guy, they showed everything, but they blocked the company out. They didn't want to name the company. And I bet it is some big company that is connected to the PPP. That is why they don't want to name it. They're going to try to get to the bottom of it, and we will possibly never know about the company. But I'll dig into it. I'll find out. But this company that the PPP and the PPP controlled media houses are basically, covering up for, they're saying that this guy is saying basically, this Turkish, that he's been in Guyana. He hasn't been paid for over 2 years now. He wants his money, but the company is threatened. The company has been threatening him to deport him, send him back to Turkey. Send him back to Turkey. And the funny thing is, it's not laughable. They waited until Thanksgiving was over. Then they want to deport him to Turkey. This Turkish, they want to deport him to Turkey. Sad situation, sad days in Guyana. Shame and disgrace to the installed regime. I hope they give this Turkish guy his money and he has a safe flight back to Turkey before next Thanksgiving, because can't eat his dinner if he remains in Guyana. Take your money and beat out. All right? Good. That's all I have to say to him. Take your money and beat out. My name is Mark Benshap. Welcome to Straight Up. I know a lot of you have been waiting to see my face, but my face is not important. What is important is the news. And after my face, you got to, unfortunately, I want to apologize to you guys that after looking at my face, you got to look at this face, right? Here's what this guy is saying. No new taxes. This reminds me of, when was it? It was 1990. 1991, sorry, the general elections, the elections in the United States of America. When George Bush Sr. said, read my lips, no more new taxes. Again, read my lips, no more new taxes. And this was, in 88 or 89 or something like that. It wasn't 91, because he was beaten. He was beaten by, who was it? It was Bill Clinton who beat George Bush Sr. in the 1991 elections. George Bush Sr., he was assisted, in fact, had it not been for that billionaire guy, that short guy, right? That short billionaire guy from Texas by the name of Ross Perot. Guess what? Ross Perot, for the first time, a third party in America, a third party in America got about 14 or maybe 17% of the votes. And Bill Clinton won the elections by, I think, 41% of the vote. And people thought that George W. Bush, who was actually the vice president for 2 terms, he was the head of the CIA in World War II, his plane was shot down, and he was a hero. Vice president twice, head of the CIA, his plane was shot down. He was president for one term. They thought that he had it all. He would be a second-term president. But here comes that little guy, that billionaire guy from Texas by the name of Ross Perot, that oil tycoon. He put that dent. Oh, yeah, he put that dent in the Republicans and the Democrats. But fortunately for Bill Clinton, a little-known guy who's governor of Arkansas, right? He became a good speaker, very charismatic and so forth. Women loved him. Even after the Lewinsky, the Monica Lewinsky situation, women still loved him. He was impeached. He was impeached, but he still went on to win a second term. Now, enough of the American politics, right? Here is back to this guy here. Now, no new taxes in 2022. Look, I wish to repeat again. Here is this guy, that thing on the page there. It's saying no new taxes in 2022. PPP installed regime it should be, but it say government focuses on putting money in the... For 20-something years, these people didn't put money in people's pocket. They had the most taxes. The burdensome tax, value-added tax, 16% on people. Ooh, sorry that I'm preaching. 16% of taxes on people. For 20-something years, the burden upon the backs of the Guyanese people, regardless of whether they're PNC, they're AFC, regardless of whether they're PPP, they were all crying out. All of them were crying out. The value-added tax, guess what, was 16%. And Barrett Jagdeo didn't care. He wasn't concerned. He wanted to continue to bleed the people. Billions of dollars they took out of NIS to give to his friends and cronies as private investors to build the Berbice River Bridge, a long bridge that satisfied only Jagdeo, when he could have gotten a shorter bridge, less money, less burden on the taxpayers of the country. No, he didn't want the short bridge. His preference was for the long bridge across the Berbice River. Obviously, billions of dollars, taxpayers' monies, took and gave to his cronies who formed a private enterprise. And guess what? They are the ones who are milking the Guyanese people. But yet this guy has the audacity. He has no shame to come out and say now. Come out and say now. Here is what he's saying. This shameless creature. No new taxes in 2022. PPP government focuses on putting money in the hands of the people. What money? Where are those 50,000 jobs? What about free education from nursery to university that they have promised the people, that they took away free education at the university level when they got into office? They are the ones who took that away from people, deny people the right for free education at the university level. But they want their friends and cronies to be able to go to, you know where, the University of IFLAT or wherever else. And now they have all, they're not talking, they're saying, where are they going to find the money? They didn't say that when they were campaigning, but now they're saying, where are they going to find the money for free education at the University of Guyana? But yet they have dozens, probably over 2 dozens, could be wrong, but about that, right, of online universities outside of Guyana that they are paying hundreds of millions of dollars. Oh, my God. Oh, gosh. And then they brag about all these things, right? Now they're also bragging about that large batch of teachers graduated from the Sarah Potter School of Education. Large batch. They're bragging about that. People couldn't graduate in just a little over a year. Those people were given the opportunity under the coalition government, right? And then you have all these policemen and women who are graduating at the University of Guyana. They are the ones who started under the coalition, and they were encouraged. Those were the good things of the coalition, even though there were a few bad things. Those were the good things under the coalition. And we got to give Jack his jacket, right? We got to give Jack his jacket. Speaking of Jack, let's go to this Jack. Look at what's happening in Parliament. This was when the PPP and that installed Speaker of the National Assembly, Manzoor Nadir. Look at this guy, Anand Prasad, sitting where the mace is supposed to be, kakopi self there, no class, no decorum, no nothing, probably no deodorant as well. Sit down there. Look, I am ashamed. Look at what is happening in Parliament. Look at how these people are treating, the House, where they're supposed to be sitting and passing laws and debating. Look at their conduct. Just take a look. And then they have the audacity. Look what they want to do. They want to, no, these guys are not wanted. It's not a wanted bulletin, mind you, right? But these are the guys that the PPP, these are the members of Parliament that the PPP folks are targeting. They want them to be suspended out of Parliament. Let me see who I recognize here. I recognize, let me give you guys a chance, because I don't know all of them, but I recognize, I really don't recognize any. Can you guys, these are the members of Parliament that the PPP wants to sanction. They send them to a select committee. Now, who are these members of Parliament? Help me name them, please. Help me name them. The guy to the bottom left looks like Ganesh Mahipal. It probably is Ganesh Mahipal. Haven't seen him in a while. He might be very busy in other areas. And then the young lady at the bottom left that's sitting next to Ganesh here is Sarabu Haley, Member of Parliament Sarabu Haley. Then the guy next to her is the now vice chair of the PNCR. His name is Viceroy Jordan. Viceroy Jordan. And the young lady at the bottom right is Natasha Singh. On top now, well, I don't know, and then there's Sherrod Duncan. And then there is the young lady between Sherrod Duncan and Christopher Jones. I can't remember who she is. She looks like Annette Ferguson, I think. Probably is Annette Ferguson. But this is a shame and a disgrace, what the PPP is doing. What are you going to sanction these people for? What have they done? How are you going to sanction these people, right? When in fact, look who really should have, look the culprits who should have been sanctioned. Look at the shame. You want to talk about shame and disgrace? The mayors, they're lucky I wasn't a member of Parliament. They're lucky that I wasn't in there. I know Sharon like to say in the ring and the fight and so forth, but they're lucky that I wasn't in there. They're real lucky? Seriously? Mace? Oh, gosh. But what these folks did is they stood up for the rights of the Guyanese people. That is what they did. They did nothing dishonorable. In fact, what was dishonorable is the manner in which Manzoor Nadir rushed to have that law passed. Rush. But what is also dishonorable? Let's go. Let me show you guys what is dishonorable. I am just fed up of those people, fed up of them, fed up so much that I gotta bring my friend J.R. Crawford in. J.R., good night. What, I didn't even realize that the time was going so fast, man. My apologies. Thank you for your patience, though. What is your take on what the heck is happening in Parliament and sanctioning of these individuals for God in heaven knows what? Your take, sir.
Well, it's a suppression of freedom of speech and freedom of expression. And what what is going on here now? Anybody who have a different opinion or support a different platform from the current administration, they're going to find a way to silence you. Which, it shows you that the democracy that we enjoyed a few years back is no longer there. But my thinking is, with this sort of behavior, it will backfire in their faces, because the internet, it's there for everybody to share information, and it's no longer, where information are being hard to come by. It's at our fingertips. So I think that this behavior is going to backfire on the current administration.
Well, we're hoping that it just not just backfire, maybe more. But I don't know. But these are the last bunch of people who should be talking about democracy and questionable behavior and all these sort of things. This is shameful. But then, I mean, I said this is shameful in going back to this here, Mr. Crawford. It is shameful. But yet these people have the audacity to talk about sanctioning and sent to the select committee and all these manner of things. This is look at these guys. Look at Priya Manning Chan. Look at Frank Anthony. But yet these people want to pretend as though they're decent. Well, we all know, those of us who know them, pretend as though they're decent. Look at how they treated those police officers. Look at, the behavior is not only in Parliament, outside of Parliament too. Look at Irfan Ali. Irfan Ali, Irfan. I did say something else, but it's Irfan. Them chaps this ain't a get shame. Over to you, Mr. Crawford. Over to you. Look at their behavior.
Look, all of this that's happening here, we in turn have to lay the blame at the citizens' feet, because if we were more interested in fairness and in democracy, we would have not voted race, and we would have come together on a common cause to have a proper life, a proper governance in this country. But as long as we continue to be racially divided, we're going to be exploited as a people from those who will, sweet mouth us to get our votes. We need to come together and look at our lifestyles and look at the benefits that we are having, especially from a country that has so much natural resources. But we are not taking ownership for this, what is happening here, because, one, I guess we are not too interested in what happens in our future. Two, we are racial in some parts, either Black or East Indian, and the politicians are exploiting us with this kind of behavior. But we need to start to come together as one people and look at how we live on a day-to-day basis and what preparations are there for our future generations.
Lots of that. We need to look at that. But let me ask you, I'm sure you saw what Mr. Jack Dale had to say. I wasn't cutting short when I say Miss, trying to get the right word, Mr. Jack Dale had to say. What is your take on this here now, where he is saying that there will be no new taxes and government putting money in the hands of Guyanese? Your take on that stupidity?
Well, on the taxation, that could be understood due to the COVID-19 and the floods and whatever. But I don't see where all the people of Guyana are benefiting from monies, because we know that only a particular group of people are getting assistance and jobs, while others are being blatantly left out or blatantly kicked off the job, even though they are way qualified than the people who are replacing them. So I don't see where that statement holds true as putting monies in Guyanese hands.
But this is a guy who, when he was in office, the burdensome 16% value-added tax on everything, tax on water, tax on electricity, tax on every single thing. Why should people believe these individuals now?
No, well, when that tax came in, that tax was actually a weapon, if you examine the way it was used. But we have clearly seen that the PPP has no intention of being there for all of Guyanese. It's selective, and even to their supporters, they're not getting the benefits that they were promised again during the election campaign. It's only the inner circle, and I've said it 3 years ago, and I'm saying it again. They are going to be used again at the polls with promises or a little bit of money. And then it goes back to 5 years of punishment, neglect, and all these things. We need voting. The problem comes with the people voting based upon race, based upon opportunities, based upon the ability to get services and goods from the leadership, because the leadership are elected by the people. But we for some reason are entrenched with this slave mentality, where we do not want to be very vocal about the way we are being treated by our own elected officials. So my point is that the people need to be much more vocal, and sometimes show some sort of force when things are not going the right way, when it should have gone that way.
I know, and a lot of times they're very, very quiet on other issues, and they want other people to really bell the cat. What's happening on the ground there, Mr. Crawford? Well, in terms of prices for goods and services and all these different things, and the COVID-19 and so forth.
Goods have gone through the roof, and they're saying that for the first quarter, we should expect the high prices. Nothing has been done to reduce the cost of living. Again, the rich people will survive. The poor people are the ones who are suffering, and generally the majority of the country will suffer or are suffering right now. And this is where we need to start to walk away from our traditional voting bloc and start to embrace each other, so we can have a louder voice to demand a change in administration, so we can, have a better life. It is time now that we stop seeing black and Indian and start to see good and bad. Only then will we, emerge as a better nation, a nation with opportunities. Robberies have gone up. Just today they had, I think somebody got robbed in Rosal, broad daylight, $10 million. Those are things that we don't want those days to come back.
Actually, $18 million, a lady from Belvedere, Albion area under quarantine, she went to a bank, and as soon as she exited the bank, guess what? Somebody was standing there waiting, somebody or persons waiting to grab her, according to the report, $18.5 million.
Look at that. That is something is amiss with that, because with that amount of money, why couldn't you get, some protection? Anyway, we'll know more about that. COVID, on the other hand, is going through the roof, but we're it's like it is what it is. Who survive, survive, and who dies, dies. That's the way it looks now.
Yeah,
Nobody cares.
but these people in the installed regime, Frank Anthony and them, want to give people the impression that they care. They don't care. This guy,
Nobody cares.
this guy, Dr. Well, he calls himself a doctor. People have questioned that. Leslie Ramsamy, who wrecked the health industry, health sector when he was there, was a shame and a disgrace. A shame and a disgrace indeed. So, hey, guess what? Let me ask you this. People are saying that that robbery was actually an inside job. But what is your take? We'll get back to that. What is your take on Mansour Nadir? Because the opposition members of parliament, and rightly so, they have no confidence in him whatsoever. They submitted a motion for him to a no confidence motion. He seems to be, and it's quite obvious that he's dilly-dallying on the issue. But what is your take on him in terms of being fair? Let's hear from you.
Mark, Mansour Nadir cannot be fair because he's sitting there illegally, because he was also on the list for the PVP, I think number 63. So he should not be there. The deputy speaker should not have been Schumann. It should have been from the main opposition, which is the coalition. So both of them are illegally sitting there. And even though he's there illegally, he hasn't shown any respect for the opposition or for the people of the country by allowing proper debates on bills to be heard before going up for voting, knowing that they have the majority. So they're actually just abusing the system, and things are not getting to be vetted properly. So in the end, the citizens are being robbed of certain protections from the law or benefits. So those guys, I'm glad that they finally brought a no confidence motion against him and the other two motions. And I hope that, both are successful. All three are successful.
Well, I hope all are successful, but look, here's what's happening. Probably they want to put these guys in the select committee so that they can be kicked out of parliament for about a month or 2 months or whatever, right? And this is why the Guyanese people have to stand up. This is not about these guys individually. This is about Guyana. This is about what is right, right? This is about democracy, and we cannot allow the PPP to do this to us, right? So they want to send these guys away on vacation for a month or maybe 2 months. And while they do that, guess what? Mansour Nadir is going to pretend as though he's entertaining the no confidence motion. So he knows that he will say to people, oh, well, I entertained it and we debated it, and Parliament has confidence in him because, of course, they have the majority. But they have a slim majority now. So he prefers to take this chance to send these people on vacation. Send them away for a month or two, let it tar off. That is the criminality in Parliament right now, the criminality on the part of the PPP. Now, I want to show our listeners, and those who are watching. Good evening to those who are listening to us via the radio on the ground. JR, do you recognize this person?
That's not Nadir?
All right, let me ask our listeners, do you guys recognize this person here with that red shirt, that deep red shirt, smiling with a big either bungi or a big warp or whatever it is on his forehead there? Do you guys recognize that individual? And I'll remind you guys where this individual was at that time. Look at him. You guys expect this guy. Let me see. I'm waiting to see a name, whether you guys know him. That guy. Yep, somebody says they recognize a clown. There are several folks there. Several folks there. But look at this individual. Look. This was in front of the Pegasus when they were shaking and shoving and almost, in an attempt as though they wanted to kill the minister who was then Minister of Foreign Affairs, Karen Cummings, and her driver. They were shaking, they were going on. And look who's there. Let me see if you guys recognize anybody there. Let me see if you guys recognize anybody there. Oh, yes. Oh, Brenda Cassie, you guys got it. You guys got it. Colin Popo, you guys got it. It's Manzoor Nadir. Look at him in front of the Pegasus doing what they went there to do. Look at them. Take a good look, right? Take a good look at Manzoor Nadir. That is Manzoor Nadir. Take a good look at Manzoor Nadir. That is Manzoor Nadir. Again, let's go. This is a 3-card trick, right? Manzoor Nadir, Manzoor Nadir, Manzoor Nadir. And then you guys expect Manzoor Nadir to be fair to these opposition members of parliament? He now wants to pretend as though he is Mr. Goody Goody. Goody Goody? Good guy? Believes in democracy? Believes in fairness and giving everybody a fair chance across the board? This is a guy, Manzoor Nadir, who wants to pretend as though he's all for righteousness and good governance and good behavior. This is the Manzoor Nadir who was there on that day. That is his photograph. It is not Photoshop. It is him. It is he. It is Manzoor Nadir. And guess what they were out there doing? They weren't out there praying or just down on their knees chanting. This is what they were out there doing. JR, and this guy Manzoor Nadir, who was once head of the United Force, wrecked the United Force. Finish off the United Force. The United Force is no longer a force. And oh, Peter Degar must be turning in his grave right now. My late maternal grandfather, who was part of Degar's party as the Young Brigade, young group, the youth movement of the TUF, Peter Degar's party. My maternal grandfather from Linden, Terry Murray, must be turning in his grave now because of how Manzoor Nadir destroyed the United Force. But mind you, his daughter is now the leader of the United Force. I want to bust out a market laugh just for that. His daughter. Over to you, Mr. Crawford. Over to you, sir.
Well, what we are seeing is, the people are blatantly disrespectful. A lot of people are going there to sing for their supper and whatever, and they're being selfish. And the general population should look at these guys, their behavior, and say, you know what? These guys this is what they're doing to us, and we are not benefiting as a nation. We are struggling. Things are getting very expensive. It's taking a heavy toll mentally and, emotionally to people. They need to move away. Teach them a lesson. Sometimes we may have to pull a Barbados on Guyana for the politician to wake up where there is a total landslide. You see, when the opposition was there, they were getting what they wanted. They were not being abused or pushed around. And we had a lot more positive. Yes, we did have some negatives, but with all administration, we'll have that. This administration got installed by foreign interference, and it shows that those foreign people didn't care about what happened to the common Guyanese. As long as they wrapped their hands around the natural resources, they used whatever powers they had. And the people should learn and see, you know what? Our future is going away offshore. We are not benefiting. It's time for us to turn our backs and go somewhere. We had it. We just got it forced out from under us. And I'm seeing some positive. Last Saturday, I saw some protests done with Urubes. And when you look at the makeup, it's showing a positive sign that things are starting to go in the right direction. Glenlal, Brian Mack, those guys are starting to pull their little bit of followers. Eventually, everybody's going to unite, and I hope it's soon, so Guyana could come back before we go over the falls. I mean, we have so much to lose as a nation, and we can't afford it. What happens to our younger generation? You talk about free education. What about our healthcare system? Our security system is a wreck because we still have some bad eggs in there.
Lots of bad eggs, and a lot of the senior ones have failed their polygraph tests. They've failed it. Jack Dave knows that. Irfan Ali knows that. Robeson Ben knows that. Some very senior ones didn't even pass their test. They got like 37 out of 100. The polygraph test, they failed it from whether they have been involved in drug dealing, in gun smuggling, in sexual harassment, you name it. All these things, senior members of the Guyana police, some senior members of the Guyana police force have failed. Now, let the installed PPP regime deny that. They have failed the polygraph test. Gosh.
We do that. Also, I must take a jab at the former administration. We didn't see a national airline being established to take advantage, and we could have made a lot of money on our own airline. And our national bank, I had hoped that they would have gotten those up and running when they were in office. So those are some of the blunders that we shouldn't have let that situation slip by. Now, coming forward now, we are not seeing the proper unity to where the coalition stands, as the way it was in 2015. And if we don't have that unity, the PPP is going to get by again. And it's time now for all of us to get out there and do our little bit. But we are still finding some people with this foolish notion of trying to discredit and disrespect people with a different point of view. But we need to come together now, because the PPP at this juncture is under a lot of pressure, and they can't correct the situation. We see the part with the ammunition and the guns. Why were they coming to our country? Are we going to war with Venezuela, or is it for internal purposes? So these are things that we need to start to take a look at. If we are concerned about our future as a country, we got to be very careful. We do have some people who sell their services for a few dollars to commit a murderous act against citizens, ordinary citizens, for whatever reason we don't know. We need to get these guys out in the open. They are in Boston situation. We all knew that the charges was wrong, because to institute manslaughter charge, you have to have an altercation. There was no altercation, so how is it that they got a manslaughter charge? So the guy would have walked off on technicality, right? You don't run into a man's house at wee hours in the morning with him in bed, and you'll have a resistance. So,
certainly, that charge of manslaughter should be up to, elevated to a murder charge, and that is what Nigel Hughes is fighting for.
You kick down somebody's door. I mean, if he was wanted, as they may want to claim, then go out there in the daytime, and if he runs away or something, then you would have probable cause to go back.
He wasn't wanted for anything. It's somebody big who's connected to the PPP. Some corrupt businessman probably paid, and that is why they are going after Nigel Hughes like that. Look, one of the things that Brenda Casey is saying, and I agree with her, everyone should have joined Glenn Lau. Everybody wants to talk, Brenda. They want to talk who should build a cat and who should this and who should that. They're big talkers. They're bluff. But nobody wants to build a cat. They don't want to go out with Glenn Lau. They're going to complain that in 2020, Glenn Lau was against the coalition. But they're not going to realize that it's the same Glenn Lau in 2015 that supported the coalition. They're not going to remember those sort of things. And that is why we've got to be careful. We've got to be careful. those who are supporters of the coalition, you've got to be careful in expanding your enemy circle. Glenn Lal forget about who he supported. He has a right to support who the hell he wants to support as a government or as a party. Anybody has that right. Who wants to support the coalition, whether it's PNC, AFC, whatever, go right ahead. Do it. It is your right. Glenn Lal also has a right. Anybody has that right to support a party. It is democracy. You can't be fighting for democracy on one side of your mouth and then talking dictatorship and dotishness on the other side of your mouth. Don't do it. I agree with you, Brenda Casey. Look, the other, and you mentioned Odo, Best, and those other guys and so forth. They're out there. Glenn Lal, kudos to you. You did a great show today. You know, you don't be political enemies for too long. For those who have this vindictiveness and this grudge and this nonsense, don't belong in political arena, because people can be. Look at how Trump treated the who was it, the Taliban and those people. They were prepared. Trump was prepared to meet with them at Mar-a-Lago or wherever it is, so that they could sit and eat and grab whatever they wanted to grab, because you know Trump loves to grab, right? All these different things. Look, JR, I'm looking at the time, man. I am looking at the time. Something else. Back to Mansour. Mansour, dead PPP, and has no authority to talk about hooliganism and all these different things. None whatsoever, Mansour Nadir. Chair, let me give you your opportunity, my friend, for your closing remarks, sir. Go ahead.
With all that's happening here legally, I am hoping that the people who decides who leads this country, they start to take a step back and look at the big picture of where we're going with this current administration and where we should be as compared to the sister nations in the Caribbean. We need to, start to look elsewhere, look for new leadership, and, get rid of all these people who are selfish, who are self-centered. It doesn't take much to take care of a nation, but we are seeing this, just a few people are getting all the benefits and they are brazen about it. And people are hungry, kids are being neglected, schooling, is hurting. We are not growing as a nation. We need to get together, put our racial nonsense aside, and come and vote for one party who's going to listen to us, who's going to take care of our needs. Exxon is bleeding us left, right, and center. We are not getting the benefits, and we're being told the benefits are going to come way down the road. Many of us will be dead before we start to see something positive, if there's anything positive. We need, as a nation, we need to start to hold leaders, elected leaders, very, very tightly. They must not run around as they please with us. The coalition, we need to see them to step it up. They are not coming out on the ground. We are seeing a lot of press conference. That don't get the people motivated. They need to reach you. They need to vent their problems, their frustration. Norton has been elected PNC leader. He should have been on the ground rather than fighting to be opposition leader. Getting out on the ground, once you mobilize your base and start to reach out to the crossover voters, then you can go and say, listen, I'm making my case now. I've mobilized the troops on the ground, and now I should be in this position. But he wants to build a house from the top down. You can't do that. You have to build a house from the bottom up. And these are missed opportunities for us. There are a lot of disgruntled PPP supporters that we may have some of them to come over, but we need to reach out. We can't just sit and expect them to come and vote for us when the time comes. And that's one of the problems with the coalition, and mainly so the PNC. They're failing to prepare. And then at the opportune moment, they expect to have the results. It's not going to happen.
That's a PNC, people who have legitimate PNC cards and not just PIA supporters, legitimate PNC supporters.
I
But before,
I got the card.
good. I know you are a PNC supporter. You are a PNC member. You have the card. They guess some don't even have a card. Some of them never even voted for a long time. But look at this lady, Chandra Singh. I want you to take a look at this lady, Chandra Singh. Hear what Chandra Singh saying. The chicken and chips, that is the job Granger gave to the people of Guyana. Granger. Chandra, where did you come from? Where did you come from, Chandra? I want to remind Chandra of this. Look, you know these guys? These guys were selling plantain chips at Borby's River Bridge, Borby's Bridge. They were selling plantain chips under the PPP regime. So that is what Chandra Singh, look na gal, oh auntie, look, them chaps they say, I know because me take this picture here and me supported them. Me supported them, right? Me buy one pack plantain chips from them and then give me mango sour and me tell them keep the change at the Borby's Bridge under the PPP regime. So Chandra, oh yeah, now come with your stupidness, man. Oh, you can do better, right? And let me also remind you that this is what is happening under the installed PPP regime. Irfan Ali talked about 50,000 jobs. You know what kind of jobs you do? Because these guys still sell plantain chips. And look what's going on in New Amsterdam and other parts of Guyana. This is the business under the installed PPP regime. Chandra.
If you not take a taste good, they got that dark food, you could taste some bite too. We got nice dark food, kind of chip. All the woman was a man is dark. You could come and get a dark food for your husband. Everybody get a.
So Chandra, you could go get dark food for your husband. Everybody get a chance to dark food. And then if it's not about dark food or whatever, there's no jobs, there's nothing, Chandra, under the PPP, the installed PPP regime. If you go Stabrook Market, then I get nothing to do. Then I get jobs, people can't buy nothing, cost of living gone up, and all these manner of things, Chandra. But Chandra, you think you understand what I say, girl? You think you really understand what I say? Because I can show you, I can give you the evidence. Stop with the nonsense, Chandra. Stop with the nonsense. Look, take a walk around Stabrook Market. No jobs, no nothing. People got to sell dark food. Nothing is wrong with that. It's a business. Them little boys got to sell plantain chips and sour and all kind of thing under the PPP regime. So rake from here with your nonsense but chicken chips. Chicken chips. They don't even get fish now. At least under the Coalition Rangers administration, they had fish. Now them they get fish. Them fish get away and go Suriname. Them fish gone Suriname, go learn Dutch now. Chandra, you should learn Dutch as well. But go around Stabrook Market, and this is what, because job not there, nothing else not there. This is how them guys doing under the PPP at Stabrook Market.
I will play rough. I will play rough. I show you how wicked and tough. And then I will with the right rough. I step on 50 man.
J.R. Crawford, here is where we'll have to pull the curtain down, man.
I
One
do have a,
1 minute before you go. 1 minute. Just take 1 minute.
I do have a lot of respect for those vendors that people are looking down on. They are much more honest than what we have out there in Parliament, some of them. So I do have a lot of respect for those guys who hustles on the street on a daily basis. And we have to support them whenever we can. And one more thing before I go, look at the fishing industry. Nobody is taking care of it. The fishermen are crying out there. They're not getting the help from the government. And eventually the citizens are going to feel the squeeze. They're going to pay 2 and 3 times more what they used to pay. The monies are not there. And then the supply would dwindle. So we are shorting ourselves nutritiously because we don't have that collective voice as a people. And this goes for both the PPP supporters and the coalition supporters. We have to start to embrace each other, regardless of who or what party someone supports. we must be able to have dialogue, and where we can discuss like adults intelligently and try to see where we can move this country forward, or we may learn something from each other where we can develop a better base. But we can't be at each other's throat because we are left behind. We're still in the Stone Age.
We are still in the Stone Age. We've got to go. J.R. Crawford, thank you so much for your time as always. And we'll catch up. Hopefully we'll have you back sometime next week, or maybe. Thank you so much, though, JR.
Good night.
Thank you, JR. Looked as though you wanted to say some more things, right? But we end on a good note here tonight. JR is always a healthy discussion here. But look, Chandragan, where's my friend Crabman? Crabman, you there? Talk to Chandra. Look, I asked Crabman to talk. I asked Crabman to talk to Chandra, and this is Crabman's reaction. That is my reaction too as well. That is my reaction. Hey, to all of you guys. Somebody wants the donkey for Chandra. I don't want to waste the donkey on. Sorry, that sounds kind of weird, right? Okay, so you guys want the donkey for Chandra. She'll get the donkey. She'll get the donkey. Chandra, we still love you, Chandra. This is a classroom. This is where you learn. You get it. Right, Terry Weeks? Talk to them. Give my regards to the people in Mocha there, Terry, Colin Pope, and all of you guys. Here, guess what? I like how Crabman laughed at Chandra. Right, Crabman?
Pressure, boss pipe. Pressure boss pipe, boy. Umaninja, Guyana de underwater. Oh, on the wrong. Sorry. Umaninja, Guyana de under pressure. What?
This is attorney Shellen Washington, owner and founder of the Washington law firm located at 455 Utica Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. We're specialized in medical malpractice, personal injuries, matrimonial law, and landlord and tenant. If you're in need of legal representation, please give us a call today. The number to call is 718-877-3100. Consultation is free at no cost to you. So call us today to see if we can be of any assistance to your legal needs. Again, the phone number to call us is 718-877-3100.
All right, here's where I've got to bid you guys good night until tomorrow night, same place, same time. Spread the word. Look, I deliberately haven't spoken about that $5+ million of guns. $5+ million. Was it really going to Guyana? And if so, why is it that the installed regime folks are very quiet about that? Very quiet. I don't want to give my mouth liberty as yet. I'm watching. By tomorrow evening, we should have some new news about some happenings in Guyana in terms of the leadership style in the opposition and these sort of. We should have some good news, or we should have some news. Whether it's good, it depends on you. Whether it's bad, it depends on some of you too as well. But I'm watching out that latest development. Again, why is the PPP so quiet about this issue with that gun, the guns, $5+ million guns? I'm deliberately quiet on that. Deliberately quiet on that. I may say something tomorrow, but God bless you all, right? Thank you all for listening. Until, bye-bye. But this guy, we want Jack Deere them to understand, because this fits them. As Jack Deere they prepare their budget, to lie to the people again that no taxes and money in people's pocket. Lies, a pack of lies, Jack Dio and Irfan. This is for Jack Dio and Irfan and all of the cohorts of the PPP regime. Bye-bye.
What's the difference between the ordinary thief and a political thief? Number one, the ordinary thief steals your money, your bag, your watch, and your jewelry, isn't it? But the political thief steals your future, your career, your education, your health, and your business. Number two, the hilarious part is that the ordinary thief will choose whom to rob. But you are the one who choose the political thief to rob you. Because we choose them. We vote them. We blindly say we are not blind. Who is deceiving who? The ridiculous part of the whole issue is that we will fight to defend and protect our belongings from the ordinary thief. Is it not? But we fight each other to defend and protect the political thief. Is that not what we do? Thugs will be fighting themselves to protect those that are stealing our career, stealing our joy, stealing our health, stealing our success. What a shame. What a travesty. It calls for us to think and think deep. The stage we are in as a country is not a stage where you become an onlooker. You have become an onlooker for too long. You must get ready to put your hands to the plow and be part of the process. It's not just about PVC, carry PVC. You must be in the kitchen where it is being determined. You must be there where the decisions are being made. If we are there in our numbers, they cannot outnumber us. But you leave it aloof. Oh, no, it's too dirty. It's a dirty game. And then the dirty guy is getting to the game of play. And you are there not showing up. And when they begin to make the decisions, you will know whether it's a dirty game or not. The result is always dirty on yours. Dirty on your health. Dirty on your business. Dirty on your success and your career. I hope that is stirring up something in you.